Black History Month. Join us as we explore the incredible achievements and rich culture in El Paso. Sponsored by Southwest University.
Good evening, I'm Oriana Botaro, and thank you for joining me for our Black History Month special. Over the next 30 minutes, you'll hear stories from African Americans in our community who have made a difference in a positive manner. From El Paso's own mayor and his successful run for office to the beginnings of a unique forum for Black voices. It's important to know that Black history is El Paso history. Well, the McCall Neighborhood Center is located at Wyoming and Cebada, and it highlights the vast history of Black heritage in the Southwest region. It's the historic home of Marshall McCall, who was the first African-American postal worker right here in El Paso, and his wife, Ola Lee. She was a principal of Douglas School, which was an all-Black school at the time. Let's go ahead and take a look inside to see the rich history it tells.
The McCall Neighborhood Center was established on December the 1st of 1984. The founder was the legendary Miss Leona Ford Washington. She was a visionary here in the city. She is a community organizer, and she was the brain thrust of this McCall Neighborhood Center. Dr. Lawrence A. Nixon. As you go through the McCall Neighborhood Center, you see displays a lot of El Pasoans, African-American El Pasoans that made a big contribution to this city, and also a lot of local artists has art that's displayed in the center. Today we're going to have the second annual African-American Historical Tour. We're going to take a trip back in history, a deja vu history, and show people about 35 to 40 African-American businesses that used to be established here. History is important. The forgotten histories, we got to bring it up. These young people that you see walking around, they got to know this history. This is important history. This is documented history. So we think it's just important as we try to revitalize the city. We try to rebirth the African community, business community back. It's just an important gesture. Once again, thank you guys so very much for coming. I really appreciate it. The future of the McCall Center is just continuous improvement. You know, this is a self-sufficient community center, so we rely on the citizens of El Paso to keep it going. So we don't get donations from the city, from the county, from the state, or either from the federal government. We maintain this center by ourselves and through in-kind donations from the citizens. Darius Jones.
For more on the McCall Neighborhood Center events, you can go ahead and visit their website or Facebook page. From November's election to a runoff in December, Renard Johnson fought to become the new mayor of El Paso. And on January 6th, in a historic moment for the city, he was officially sworn in. Our Carla Draxler sat down with him, and she brings us his story.
My family moved here in the late 60s, in 1967. I was 7 months old when we arrived here in El Paso. Growing up here in El Paso has been just fantastic.
You are the first Black mayor that the El Pasoans have elected ever. What does that mean to you? What does it tell you about this city?
First and foremost, El Paso is a wonderful community. And regardless of color, remember, we arrived here in 1967. We could live anywhere we want to in the city of El Paso as African Americans. So it shows you how warm and embracing El Paso truly is. Make no mistake, though, that I do know that I am African American. I know that I'm Black. I wake up every morning knowing that I'm Black. But I don't let that define who I am. You know, I think that, you know, the people elected me as the first African American mayor in over 150 years in this great city. Not because of the color of my skin, but because of my leadership and the things that I'm going to do to help move our city forward.
And you also have two young daughters that you seem to be very close with. Tell me, what is kind of the community that you're trying to create for them to grow up in? What I'm trying to instill in them is that you can be and do anything you want, regardless of who you are, regardless of your skin color, regardless if you're a female. I can tell you a real quick story about my younger daughter. Is she attended a new school and she wanted to run for class president. She was only there 2 weeks. But because she saw her father during a campaign running for mayor, she felt strong and comfortable enough that she could run for class president. Although she didn't win, but she still tried. Have there been any particular challenges that you face being African American, whether it is in a professional setting or within you? You always have obstacles, you know, growing up. You know, not everyone
may not have been receptive because of who you are. And again, I mentioned, there's racism and there's things still in our country. Those things are always going to be there. It's just how you overcome them and move forward.
In the state of Texas, teaching critical race theory has been banned for a couple of years now, and then President Trump is now rolling back on DEI as well. Do you think this is something that is still important to embrace and have in this community?
The U.S. is a melting pot. We've come from all over the U.S., all different countries. That's what makes the United States. It's given me my opportunity. It's given me my family's opportunity. So I look at things maybe from a different lens. I believe that bringing people together is something that we should be focused on. And regardless of skin color and regardless of diversity, we've got to work together.
Mayor Johnson's term will last until 2029. Beverly Mathis graduated from El Paso High School in 1969, but her journey through school was unique as she was the only African-American female graduate of her class. She sat down with us to share her story of victory.
I attended Jefferson High School first, but nonetheless, it ended up being that I ended up going to El Paso High the second semester of my junior year. I was the only black female in my class, and was loved by everyone, and then a few people who had never dealt with anyone that was black American became to really enjoy being with me or being around me, because they realized that I was human just like anybody else. I had an awesome opportunity to be the leader of Sponsor Corps, JROTC Sponsor Corps. They didn't want me on the field when they did their performance. We would go to the drill meets. God blessed me to think of a routine that we could do where all I had to do was stand at parade rest. And there was no qualms about, well, she's not on the field, she's not blowing the whistle, she's not doing. I was standing at parade rest. I was chilling, as they would say nowadays. As a matter of fact, when it came time for all of the officers to take a picture, they didn't think that I was going to show up, but I was one of the officers. And so it ended up being that one of the young ladies that I went to school with at Jeff, she was like, well, if Bev can't be with it, none of us would. And then everybody else from Coronado and, from all the other schools, they were like, what do you mean she can't be in it? Because they didn't understand what was happening. And but we got the picture taken with me in it. I had two teachers that were trying to get used to being around me. And one was blonde-haired, blue eyes. But once he got to know me, he realized that I was human too. And from that point on, he was my best buddy. My senior class, they're awesome. Yeah, class of 69 is everybody who's a part of El Paso High will always say that their class is the best, but yeah. Beer, booze, sex, and wine. I'm the class of 69.
Our thanks to Beverly Mathis for sharing her story. Well, coming up, a pathway to leadership. El Paso City Manager Dion Mack talks about her new role and her journey to the borderland. And tackling a dream, a young black entrepreneur takes us inside his East El Paso boutique for his quest for success when KTSM's Black History Month special returns. Welcome back to our Black History Month special. A life experience through faith, Pastor Michael Grady has called El Paso home for many years. Having established his ministry right here in the borderland, he takes a great pride in helping many through grief and works to uplift the community that he loves. We end our special presentation with his story today.
I've been in the ministry since I was 12 years old. So I'm 71 years old now. So I've been preaching and teaching as long as I can remember. I was really moved to launch out into this non-denominational phase. So I established Prince of Peace Christian Fellowship in 2018, And so about 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago, we started this ministry here, and we've been here ever since. I was elected president of the NAACP here in El Paso. I was also president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. And as a result of that, connected with the community and connected with the city. And I'm also on the board of directors for Board and Network for Human Rights, serving with them. I'm also the chapter coordinator for an organization called Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. Being a pastor for the past over 50 years now, the greatest joy is to see people's lives changed. Church is really not this monster that tries to force change in the lives of people, but we are available to offer an alternative to fear, to doubt and unbelief, to the division that exists in our communities. And we pray, Lord, that you would do what we cannot do. My job is to equip and perfect humans to go back into community to affect change, to show genuine love and concern, to deal with issues of healing and brokenness and restoration. I still hear from people that I ministered to 20 years ago, people I met in Germany, people I met in Italy. I still pray with their children now.
Thank you so much for joining us for our Black History Month special. Have a good rest of your day. Welcome back to our Black History Month special. Monica Tucker says that after moving to El Paso and realizing the lack of Black community, she was determined to get out there and connect with other cultures. Now she runs a community forum called Black El Paso Voice, where everyone is encouraged to submit information. She tells us more now about her unique efforts.
I first got to El Paso in 1996. I didn't really think that there was a Black community here based on what people would tell military families anytime they're coming here. Like, there's nothing to do, there's nobody there. So I didn't feel that there was a community. So when I finally got out there and I saw that there were, Black organizations, Black businesses, it intrigued me. But I was trying to figure out why I didn't know that when I came here. When I first got here, like, why no one introduced me to that community. And that's what we're doing now. We want people to submit information to us, and we have something called the Black Information Exchange, and that's where we want people to submit information to us so that we can share with our demographic what they're doing in the community too. And like with the Black History Tour, we're proud supporters of the McCall Neighborhood Center, and that's what the Black History Tour is through the McCall Center. So of course, those are types of events and information we want to share with the community. Of course, it's a Facebook page. We have a website also. It's all about collaboration. And my ultimate goal is to encourage the Black community to get out into the El Paso community and embrace other cultures as well. Of course, it's no denying that we're Black 365 days a year, but the point is to share our culture with other cultures also. That's what we're going to continue to do for hopefully years to come. But we do want to encourage the community to send us information. It's all about sharing resources. And the only way we'll know that is if people come to us and let us know. Of course, we're always on the lookout for it. So that's what we're about, just to continue sharing information.
And El Paso will mark a significant historical moment next month with the inaugural Black Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's happening on March 1st at 5 p.m. in the afternoon at the Starlight Event Center on 6650 Continental Drive. The event will honor African-American El Pasoans who have made exceptional contributions to the community. That includes distinguished leaders who have shaped El Paso's cultural, civic, and professional landscape. The ceremony will also recognize individuals who have passed away, but whose legacies continue to inspire and resonate within the El Paso community.
A lot of people think that it was just about only focusing on being Black, and I was like, it's not that. It's things that we've gone through, our ancestors have gone through, and we're proud to be able to be here today to speak about those things. But for me, being Black in El Paso, and I call it Black on the Border, is to get out there and connect with other cultures, and I call it a kaleidoscope. We're a kaleidoscope here in El Paso. We come from different cultures, and that's what it's all about.
For more information on the inaugural Black Hall of Fame induction ceremony, you can visit blackelpasovoice.com. Also ahead, teaching through ministry. Pastor Michael Grady shares with us a message of hope and healing when KTSM's Black History Month special returns. Welcome back to our Black History Month special. A life experience through faith, Pastor Michael Grady has called El Paso home for many years. Having established his ministry right here in the borderland, he takes a great pride in helping many through grief and works to uplift the community that he loves. We end our special presentation with his story today.
I've been in the ministry since I was 12 years old. So I'm 71 years old now. So I've been preaching and teaching as long as I can remember. I was really moved to launch out into this non-denominational phase. So I established Prince of Peace Christian Fellowship in 2018. And so about 9 years ago, almost 10 years ago, we started this ministry here. And we've been here ever since. I was elected president of the NAACP here in El Paso. I was also president of the Interdenominational Ministerial Alliance. And as a result of that, connected with the community and connected with the city. And I'm also on the board of directors for Border Network for Human Rights, serving with them. I'm also the chapter coordinator for an organization called Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. Being a pastor for the past over 50 years now, the greatest joy is to see people's lives changed. Church is really not this monster that tries to force change in the lives of people, but we are available to offer an alternative to fear, to doubt and unbelief, to the division that exists in our communities. And we pray, Lord, that you would do what we cannot do. That you would... My job is to equip and perfect humans to go back into community to affect change, to show genuine love and concern, to deal with issues of healing and brokenness and restoration. I still hear from people that I ministered to 20 years ago, people I met in Germany, people I met in Italy. I still pray with their children now.
Thank you so much for joining us for our Black History Month special. Have a good rest of your day.